The European Union is warning it has a strong plan for retaliating against the Trump tariffs. The Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said while the bloc would prefer to negotiate a trade deal, if tariffs are imposed, it will come to the table from a position of strength. Cecilia Malmström is the former EU Trade Commissioner, now the Senior Fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics. The Peterson Institute knows more than enough that is honest or decent about tariffs and trade and have been doing all the marvellous research on it. Cecilia, good to see you. You join us from Sweden. The reality is, yes, I know nobody benefits from tariffs, but the reality is these are coming. Do you think the EU is properly prepared?
Well, I think we've had good evening, everybody. Nice to be here again. I think the EU is quite prepared. This has been in the making for quite some time. We have heard President Trump's statements during the campaign and also in his first weeks. So there has been a team working on different scenarios in the Commission. We don't know exactly what will come out tomorrow, but there will be counter tariff or countermeasures. Depending on what comes out, of course. We have first the steel and aluminium tariffs, we have the car and car parts tariffs, and then what will come tomorrow. So unfortunately, the EU will have to retaliate, and it will be in the form of counter tariffs, and then maybe something else, depending on what's on the table.
The US has a bit of a point on things like cars. Whether it is a straightforward, the tariff of 8% or whatever the number is, which is higher than what the US does quid pro quo, or it's non-tariff barriers. The EU has not played fair with the US when it comes to automobiles.
Well, that is the claim of President Trump. It is true that the EU tariffs on cars is 10% towards the whole world. It's negotiated in the WTO and it applies to all the countries with whom we do not have trade agreements, US, India, China, and others. And the US has only 2.5%. But if you compare, for instance, lorries and trucks, we have 6%, the US have 25%. So on average, the tariffs are rather low between us, but there are some goods where they are higher on one side and lower on the other side. And this could, of course, be negotiated. Many years ago, we tried to do a trade agreement. It was called TTIP. And the aim was to get rid of tariffs as much as possible, but also to see what we can do on what you just referred to, the non-tariff barriers, standards and licenses and such things.
I just wonder, at what point is the EU going to say, you know, we are, obviously the US is still a major trading partner, but we do need to build better trade relations, for example, with China or with South America. More, I mean, yes, they've been doing it, but it's always been overshadowed by the US. And now the US can no longer, in some views, be regarded as a reliable ally.
Well, the transatlantic partnership has been severely damaged lately, not only because of trade, but also because of the president's views and the administration's views on Ukraine. But US and Europe are very important trading partners. This has been beneficial for all of us. It has created jobs and growth on both sides of the Atlantic. But it is true the EU has also other friends, and I think it will step up. It has more free trade agreements than any other country in the world. And I think it will step up, where you said Mercosur, the countries of Latin America, with Mexico, with India, Indonesia, Australia, etc., to broaden that dependence. And that, I think, will be the strategy of many other countries as well.
Do you believe that this is also an opportunity not to reverse Brexit, because that was the decision of the British people, but at least to put in place the sort of post-Brexit arrangement that should always have been there, absent dogma and prejudice on both sides?
Well, we have a trade agreement with our British friends. It is far from perfect, and I think we are ready to look at it. On if the Brits are on the security field, there has certainly been a lot of very close cooperation, which has built trust as well. So I don't think the trade agreement is immediately up for revision, but that could be discussed, of course.
I'm grateful to have you, Cecilia. Thank you so much. I'll give you early warning, ma'am. I think we're going to be talking a lot more over the next few weeks as this thing gets worse and,
I can imagine.
And goes deeper. So let's stay in touch. Thank you for joining us.